Eddie Hearn and Dillian Whyte reportedly offer a 7-figure deal to Andy Ruiz Jr. to fight Dillian Whyte. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus, UFC 246. The link is in the description of all of my videos. Use that link. Conor McGregor. I don't know what you're thinking. Conor McGregor versus Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Should be a good fight. I come back for Conor McGregor. And the link is in the description again. It helps the channel, helps my channel grow. Now, there's reports that Eddie Hearn and Dillian Whyte have offered Andy Ruiz significant money. Mike Coppinger of The Athletic. Sources: Eddie Hearn made a 7-figure offer to Andy Ruiz Jr. for a fight with Dillian Whyte to be staged in March 28th or early April in the UK on DAZN. Ruiz, of course, lost his heavyweight championship to Anthony Joshua in December. Whyte beat Marish Weck on the undercard. Right? There's a follow-up tweet that says, sources: Dillian Whyte remains engaged in negotiations with Alexander Povetkin for a bout in the same time frame in the UK. Whyte appears destined for a significant fight in the spring regardless. I disagree with that statement. I don't think Dillian Whyte versus Povetkin is a significant fight at all. You know, at this point, you know, I wanted to see it a couple years ago, but that was then, you know, so I don't think that's a significant fight. Ruiz would be a better fight for the fans, at least in America. That's what I'm referring to. Povetkin, Dillian Whyte in the UK, I don't really see that being a crossover success or a fight, because the reason I keep talking, a lot of people, just so we're clear with this America stuff, the reason, one, I'm American, but beyond that is DAZN is trying to break through in America. DAZN is not available in places like Australia at the moment and the UK. Eddie Hearn has a deal in place in the UK with Sky Sports. So that's who distributes the box office, aka pay-per-view, for these fights. So Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin absolutely is not a big fight for America. Americans have been off Povetkin since the Klitschko fight, or when he failed a drug test and, you know, sent Deontay Wilder home, and that fight got canceled. Beyond that, Povetkin's last performance, I thought he lost to Michael Hunter, a cruiserweight who lost to Usyk, who's coming up in weight, and you know, he was bullying Povetkin in moments of that fight. Povetkin kind of came on in the mid rounds, but he's recently been stopped by Joshua. I just don't see it being a big fight. But Dillian Whyte's working on his next fight. He posted this, a picture of him and Eddie Hearn. He says, good meeting in the morning with Eddie Hearn. Fight news dropping very, very soon. Sky Sports, Matchroom, Body Snatcher, March, April times next fight. So he got a scheduled tentative date. It's just about who he's going to fight. I'm wondering why Eddie Hearn, you know I came up with the phrase rematch room, but it's looking oh so true. Why do they just keep reciting? It's like the same Chisora, Dave Allen, Dave Price, and Marish Weck, and Eric Molina. Like, so AJ beats Eric Molina before the Klitschko fight, so years ago, and then they feed him to Philip Ergovich. You know, it's like they have to go. I know the heavyweight's not all too big, but it's bigger than it's ever been in recent memory. And it's like they keep going through the same guys over and over, guys coming off of losses. Like Dillian Whyte fought Joseph Parker immediately upon the losing his title to Anthony Joshua. Why is Dillian Whyte fighting guys coming off of losses? Because Povetkin really lost, to, as far as I'm concerned. Or Andy Ruiz. If he fights Andy Ruiz, he's coming off a loss. And not even a reasonable loss. Like Luis Ortiz is coming off a loss, but he looked good for 6 of 7 rounds, 6.5 rounds, until he got clipped. That's the heavyweight division. That happens. With Dillian Whyte putting stuff like this, Coward, Wilder, says congrats to Wilder, who has been awarded a special belt, the world's biggest Coward belt. I would like to see Dillian Whyte actually step up and fight somebody that's has more momentum. Dillian Whyte himself doesn't have the most momentum as well, but it's funny because he keeps making these notions that Luis Ortiz is an old man and decrepit and he's no good and the guy's 165. Boom, Luis King Kong Ortiz, 1979, age 40. That's when he was born, right? We look at Alexander Povetkin, which is likely. I think they're kind of clout chasing Andy Ruiz's name. Maybe he takes the deal, but either way, it's a PBC Al Heyman fighter, and they might have plans. He's not strict to DAZN, so I don't know if Ruiz, I don't know what his plans are. Boom, here's Povetkin. So Povetkin, born same year, 1979, age 40. So how is it that a Povetkin fight is supposed to be significant, or a fight that can get made? And we know, we've seen David Price recently rock Povetkin. We've seen Michael Hunter was hurting him in like very aggressive, a cruiserweight coming up. We've seen him do good, but then got knocked out by Joshua, beat by Klitschko. I just don't feel like this is the Povetkin of old, when he was fighting guys like Hasim Rahman and knocking him out and looking like potentially, you know, they thought he was someone who could beat a guy like Klitschko, which wasn't true. You know, knocking out Carlos Takam. This was in 2014. We're in 2020 now. Why does Dillian Whyte, why not fight somebody who seems like, you know, even Michael Hunter, he seems more live and full of energy. Philip Ergovich, who's, these two are on DAZN. You know, more importantly for me, if you're trying to make DAZN pop in America, why not a guy who's branded? If you're going to fight a guy off a loss, why not Luis Ortiz? Again, you can't tell me that Luis Ortiz is too old and when he's 40 and Povetkin's 40. And if you look at Mariusz, what age is he? 40 years old, basically. Watch. This is Dillian Whyte's last opponent, and he didn't even look good versus him. Gerald Miller walked this guy down. Mariusz. Klitschko beat him, right? Mariusz. What year was he born? Oh, that's right, 1979. So Dillian Whyte's whole shtick about calling Luis Ortiz an old man, it looks bad because if he fights Povetkin, that'll be his second 40-year-old in a row. If you could fight 40-year-olds, why not fight a 40-year-old who actually looked good? Mariusz hasn't looked good in years. Povetkin hasn't really looked sensational either. He's coming off a draw. Ruiz is coming off of a loss where he lost every round in a fight where he won every round. So he has discipline issues. Why does DAZN feel the need to try to clout chase Mexican, Hispanic fans and stuff like that and try to get this crossover by putting on fights that the timing is bad? You know, Chavez versus Danny Jacobs. He ducked the VADA testing, and then you see how the event played out, and then they wonder why it's not helping. The growth is stagnant and stuff. Look, this is Mariusz. Look at all the red on his account. He lost to Povetkin, got knocked out. Later got knocked out, as I said, Gerald Miller. He lost from 2017 to 2019, which was last year. He lost 3 fights in a row. Big Baby Miller. He lost to Artur Szpilka, who Wilder destroyed. Bryant Jennings knocked out, and Derek Chisora recently brutalized, but Szpilka beat him. You know, Szpilka beat him. He did hurt Szpilka. I remember that fight, but still 3 losses in a row. Big Baby Miller, Szpilka, who definitely ain't been the same since Wilder, and then Martin Bacoli, who Michael Hunter beat. See, this is why it's called Rematch Room, because they keep making matches like that, and it's very hypocritical for Sir Dillian Whyte to call Luis Ortiz an old man, yet and still his last opponent was 40. You know, when Joshua beat Klitschko, he was 40. If he fights Povetkin, he's 40. If he fights Andy Ruiz, he's coming off of a bad, undisciplined loss. It's just, when can he fight a guy like even a Luis Ortiz who's coming off a loss, but it's a loss that us as boxing fans, we can respect, because he lost to One Punch Man, Deontay Wilder, in a fight he was winning. Shit happens in the heavyweight division. That's my thoughts on the potential 7-figure deal. I don't know. It's just, we'll see what happens. But, you know, I want to see Dillian Whyte, Daniel Dubois, Philip Ergovich, especially with all the stuff, the trash talk and the banter about Wilder, fight Luis Ortiz. You know, Dominic Breazeale even called out Dillian Whyte. That's, to me, Dillian Whyte fighting Dominic Breazeale would be interesting. You know, he's a guy, he should still be in the WBC rankings, stuff like that. Is Povetkin, where is he at? You know, he's coming off a draw. Man, come on. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.